Next, let's talk about the zero rule for exponents. Exponents can be called power, degree, raised to. So the rule about zeros is anything and then I'm going to put parentheses. I'm going to say except for 0. Okay? So this is excluding 0. Anything raised to the power of 0 is 1. Well, let's talk about that. If I have a raised to 0, it equals 1. If I have 1,000 raised to 0, it is 1. If I have negative 1 times 1,000, well, it's not exactly 1 because that 0 power only goes to what's directly in front of it. And what is directly in front of it? This parentheses here. So I'm going to have negative 1 times whatever's in that parentheses. So 1,000 raised to the 0 power is 1. Now I have negative 1 times 1, which the answer is negative 1. Now, let's go to the except for 0. I can raise 0 to the 0 power, but I can't get 1 as an answer because 0 will not ever equal 1. 0 is just 0. So in this case here, anything other than 0 raised to the 0 power is 1. And I can show you why. So I'm going to use a base of 2. And I'm going to use my powers. So I have, let's go 2 to the 5th, 2 to the 4th, 2 cubed, 2 squared, 2 to the 1st, 2 to the 0, 2 to the negative 1. Let's go that far. And let's talk about it. And the reason why I want to use 2 is because most people understand 2's. So here is my base. My base is 2. So that means whatever I get on this outside column, I will divide by 2. So 2 to the 5th is the same as saying 2 times itself 5 times. So I know that 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. So that's 32. But I'm going to divide it by 2 because 2 is my base. And what does that give me? 16. Well, 2 to the 4th is 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. It's 16. Oh, wow, look, we got it right here. Right? So that's true. 2 to the 4th is 16. Well, if I divide this by 2, I get what? I get 8. Ah, so what does that give me? It should give me 2 cubed. So let's talk about it. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. Ah, that's correct. There's a pattern here. So let's divide this by 2 again. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. Whoops, I should have wrote 2 there. Excuse me, guys. This is why I like pencil. I can erase my boo-boos. Okay, so that's 2. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. So this should be 2 squared. Let's look. 2 times 2 is 4. So let's divide that by 2. Let's divide it by the base. And that should give me, 2 goes into 4 2 times. That should give me 2 to the 1st. Ah, that is correct because 2 to the 1st is 2. Well, if I divide that by my base, which is 2, 2 goes into itself 1 time, which should give me 2 to the 0, which is 1. Well, if I divide this by 2, what happens? It gives me 2 to the negative 1st, which is 1 over 2. You can use this for any method. bases of 3s, 4s, 5, it all stands true. And this will help you understand why 0 to the, help you understand a base raised to 0 power is 1, and a base raised to 1 is itself.